I know that, for example,
Yeah.
Israel kills huge numbers of Palestinians, but the British Air Force was flying over Gaza to collect information to support the genocide. And they killed 3 British citizens who were there to try to deliver food to the people of Gaza.
Yeah.
And after they were killed, the family of those who were killed, British people, 3 martyrs with tens of thousands of Palestinian martyrs, but they wanted to know how their dear ones died, and they asked the British government for the surveillance footage from the Air Force so that they could know how. The British government refused to give this information to British families who had provided some martyrs, but they gave it to the genocide.
The International Solidarity Campaign, launched to stop Israeli genocide against Gaza and dismantle the Zionist colonial regime, is facing unprecedented restrictions today as its members are exposed to detention by the government authorities in the US, UK, Germany, and other countries. Some of the pro-justice students were thrown out of their courses. To discuss that, I have with me Mick Napier of the Scottish Palestine Solidarity Campaign. Welcome to the program, Mick.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mick, before we talk about the activities of the solidarity movement in Scotland and the world, let's talk about the horrors and the crimes that the Israeli occupation forces are committing against the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. Today, Israel is burning Palestinians alive in Gaza, targeting their makeshift tents with missiles and rockets. What is your thought on that?
I think my view is the same view as many, many millions of people around the world, that Israel every week reaches a new depth of depravity. They destroyed 40 heavy moving machines in the last few days, deliberately to prevent the rescue of dying Palestinians under the rubble, children, women, and men. It's really very, very sick. It's a kind of creative depravity, creative sadism. And it fits, of course, as an extreme example of the constant Zionist project to create pain and suffering in order to persuade Palestinians to leave Palestine. Long before Donald Trump wanted to empty Gaza to make it into Palestine by the sea for the very rich, long before that, the Zionists had a similar plan, which was to empty the whole of Palestine. So this particular sadism, this new deep depravity, because I cannot think of a worse way to die than of thirst and hunger and pain under the rubble, when you know that there are so many people keen to rescue you, to help you, but they're denied the means to do so. It's very, very, very degenerate indeed.
Yeah, and now the people who are demonstrating every day in the streets of different capitals around the world to stop such crimes, to stop the genocide against the children and women in Gaza, they are facing like the police attacks, as the police, whether in the United States, Germany, the UK, and many other countries, are tightening their grip on these demonstrations. Do you think that would defeat the spirit that those people who support justice for Palestine and for every people is going to be defeated?
I'm sure that it will not succeed. Now they're jailing a lot of people. A friend was telling me he's in contact one woman who's in jail for a year. It's not like Palestine, the brutal repression, but here in the soft West, the repression is intensifying, and people are in jail for long periods as they attempt to stop the production of weapons to go to Israel to kill Palestinians. So, but everything the Israelis do makes more people hate the Israeli state and the Zionist project. And that's not going to get any less. The Zionists already, when they, in their publications, they discuss the crisis that in America, they are losing the public opinion that they used to have. That even a majority of young Jews want nothing to do with Israel because of its crimes. So they are repelling people. They're disgusting a lot of people. And the anger is only intensified by every week the new headlines and the new, what I would call the creative sadism of the Israeli military. It just gets worse and worse and more beyond. It's obvious. It should be beyond human endurance, but the Palestinians endure it.
Yeah, but the price that the activists pay is so high today, and we all saw how many students in the United States were thrown out of their courses, and some people got their green cards and their right of residence cancelled or at risk of cancellation. Now, how it is possible for the solidarity movement to support these activists and keep their status in the place where they live?
Well, it's very difficult in America under Trump, but there is a huge effort. People are patrolling their own streets to warn people when I forget what the authorities are called. They're called ICE, but it's a squad operating across the USA to snatch people, so-called illegal migrants, but also Palestine solidarity activists, and people are organizing to defend them, but it's very difficult against the US state. All we can do is say that you know, we don't leave anybody behind, that even if they are seized by the government, even if they're jailed, we don't forget them. We organize to support them. We remember them. And we say that we will not be intimidated. I have been charged recently with terrorism. The police seized me. The police took me at the airport, took my phone, took my electronic equipment, and they're threatening to charge me with terrorism. But this is happening to many people. We will never be intimidated because we know that what we are facing is evil, is really, it's a new stage in human history of this cruelty and depravity by the Israeli military and the settlers, which we have never seen before. Nobody before has seen a project to break the hands of Palestinian surgeons. The industrial scale torture. Israel doesn't have a monopoly of torture, we know that, but Israel's torture is as depraved as any other cruel dictatorship in the world. So we have to stand by those people who are tried, those people who are jailed here in Britain, because they're jailed for doing something that's successful. Two of the arms factories for the Israeli Elbit company here in Britain have been closed down permanently by protests. We see it even in America. We see cities which have boycotted everything to do with Israel because of mass protests, and also in Massachusetts, but also in Belgium as well. In Canada, which has a very Zionist government, very pro-Israel government, one of the biggest unions has a policy of boycotting anything to do with Israel. And in universities, there's a major struggle. It's a major struggle. People probably know what's happening in Harvard, where the authorities are, there's a fight between the authorities and Trump. But both the university authorities and Trump agree that opposing Israel, opposing Israeli genocide is what they call anti-Semitism. But the student body has a different and a third position. And many of them are active in solidarity with Palestine. So there's a fight going on in some universities. In Trinity College Dublin, the university has decided to boycott Israel. In other universities, Ontario Tech University in Canada, there are boycott successes as well. But it's Barcelona in Spain has cut links with the genocidal state of Israel. Puma, a huge footwear company, has stopped their sponsorship of the Israeli football team following mass protests. And one of the biggest companies in the world, G4S, has pulled out of Israel as well.
Yes,
it's
Nick.
never fast enough for you Palestinians suffering so terribly, but we have to keep on fighting, Osama.
Yes, yes, Mick. So what you're saying is that the solidarity movement around the world at the level of the public and companies and universities have a very strong momentum at the time being. But some people say that the people who protest, the people who participate in such activities, compared to the people who do not, is very small, which means that many people don't protest, don't talk about the suffering of the Palestinians under the Israeli occupation. So Israel still have the majority in the world. How do you read things?
Complete nonsense. I remember when, to give an example, Osama, when a huge majority of people in Britain were against the invasion of Iraq, a very, very big majority, many millions of people. We had a demonstration in London of 2 million. And one of the ministers said, oh, that's only 2 million, 50 million people didn't demonstrate. This is so stupid because the majority was with us. And today, although maybe 1,000 or 2,000 marched through the city of Glasgow last Saturday. We marched through and I chaired the rally. I was the MC at the rally. It was a very dynamic demonstration. The population is with us. What they don't agree with us is, it's not they don't agree, they don't see, they have been brought up to believe that they cannot fight the government. It's not that they, look, Osama, it takes me 2 minutes to persuade somebody in the street that what Israel is doing is disgusting. It takes 2 minutes to persuade them that Palestinians deserve to be free and they're the victims of terrible crimes. But it takes a long time to persuade people against their whole education that began in school, where they were denied knowledge of what was happening about it takes a long time to persuade people that they can make a difference. It's not indifference that prevents people from marching. It's a feeling of powerlessness that this horrible, horrible government in London, a full partner in the genocide, that we cannot defeat it. But I think we will.
Yeah, and my final question to you, Mick, as a person interested in the Palestinian situation, what is your reading for the near future in light of Israeli decimation of Gaza? Gaza is razed to the ground, tens of thousands are under the rubble, 200,000 people dead and injured. Nibbling the West Bank, we have a strong Israeli apartheid regime, gates at the entrances of every Palestinian town and city here in the West Bank. Settlements are increasing so rapidly. Unlimited American support, European indifference to some point, and word silence. So how do you understand the near future for the cause of Palestine and the Palestinian people?
My dear Osama, in the near future, I don't know. But I know that, for example, Israel kills huge numbers of Palestinians. But, the British Air Force was flying over Gaza to collect information to support the genocide. And they killed 3 British citizens who were there to try to deliver food to the people of Gaza. Yeah. And after they were killed, the family of those who were killed, British people, 3 martyrs with tens of thousands of Palestinian martyrs, but they wanted to know how their dear ones died, and they asked the British government for the surveillance footage from the Air Force so that they could know how. The British government refused to give this information to British families who had provided some martyrs, but they gave it to the genocide, the genocidal state. So there is a deep animosity towards the government here. We can never tell. You can never predict when the Berlin Wall will fall, when apartheid will fall in South Africa. It's impossible to predict, and nobody ever did predict. We can never know. But, you know, we look at the resistance in Gaza, in Palestine, and across the Middle East, there is resistance, solidarity with the people of Palestine. When will this lead to a real change across the region? We cannot predict. But all of these governments which are helping the Israelis or are silent during the genocide, they are going to suffer, and they will receive a punishment. But we don't know when.
Yeah, Mick, it has been a great pleasure having you on our program. Thank you very much.
It is my honor to be allowed to address you and your viewers, Osama. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mick. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. And from me, Osama Nazal, have a nice time.